Blumhouse and Universal are teaming up to develop a reboot of John Carpenter's hugely popular sci-fi horror film, The Thing. Obviously, this isn't the first time, but what has changed that has now fast-tracked this project into development? What is up, guys? Zach Cherry here, and I started this channel because I'm a huge horror geek, and if you're like me, you might want to consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the little bell thingy too, so YouTube can alert you of any time I drop a new video. Just for shits and gigs, give this video a thumbs up and meet me in the comment section down below to let me know what your favorite John Carpenter movie is. Honestly, I'm not too surprised by this news. After the success of Halloween 2018, it was only a matter of time before Blumhouse and Universal went back to double dip into John Carpenter's film repertoire to see if they can make magic happen for a second time. And of course, with the great remake epidemic of the 2000s, JC has already seen a handful of his movies get modern updates, all met with varying degrees of fan and critical reception. The funny thing about that though is that Carpenter doesn't actually give a damn. He is okay with these shit remakes because it means that he gets to retire from filmmaking and cash royalty checks for the rest of his life while he sits on the couch and watches basketball. I myself am not too impressed about this news. I was just going off in my last video about how I wanted to see less sequels and remakes and more original ideas. Like when you take The Thing, which is one of the best horror movies ever, and you want to update that, like you are inherently going to make a inferior version of that movie. It's never going to live up to the original. Now, in the time between the 2011 prequel and this current news, there was a huge literary discovery that was made. So the original story, which The Thing is based off of, was a novella titled Who Goes There, which was written by John W. Campbell Jr. in 1938, and until now was believed to be the definitive and complete source material of the 1982 film. Of course, John Carpenter's version isn't the first adaptation of the story, as Howard Hawks produced The Thing from Another World, which was released by RKO Pictures in 1951 and is kind of famously remembered as being the movie that little Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace are watching while being babysat by Laurie Strode in Halloween. Anyway, 2 years ago, while researching papers of John W. Campbell Jr. at the Houghton Library at Harvard, writer Alec Novella Lee uncovered a preliminary, never-before-published manuscript entitled Frozen Hell. It seems Campbell's Frozen Hell had been turned down by many publishing agencies at the time, and he'd all but given up hope, but rather than scrap the project entirely, he rewrote it, removing the first half of the story as well as an extended ending which sets up a sequel, and the changes he had made allowed it to be published as a short story, and the rest was history. Thanks to a Kickstarter campaign though, Frozen Hell finally got its publication last year, and the book is currently available. It's hard to find any sort of precise summary anywhere online, but what is said is that it offers a lot more backstory and characterization. But the news of Blumhouse and Universal developing this project was officially made public by producer Alan Dawes, who announced on his Facebook that he had received his signed contract and first paycheck as the film's executive producer, making it clear that this project is being fast-tracked, possibly in time for the 40th anniversary of John Carpenter's The Thing. I haven't really had a lot of time to give this my personal thoughts and what I would like to see with it, but I think that what makes the most sense would be to give this the Halloween 2018 treatment. So to make this a continuation of the story told 40 years into the future. I don't necessarily want to see a remake of the story that we already know. We've seen that before. I don't think that it can be done better at this point. I'd love to see John Carpenter be involved as an executive producer. You know, he came on board for Halloween 2018. He also did the musical score for that movie along with his son Cody and collaborator Daniel Davies. I know with the original Thing, it was actually Ennio Morricone who did the score, which was an amazing score, and he collaborated with him to find a sound that was very similar to Carpenter's, but also had a more European approach. The finished product saw at least an hour worth of music that wasn't actually used in the movie and does appear on the soundtrack, but it was also most recently heard in the movie The Hateful Eight, which also starred Kurt Russell. So as far as the music goes, if they took all that unused music and brought it into this movie, I would totally be on board for that. That would make me a little more excited for the project. Obviously, I'd love to see Kurt Russell come back as well, you know, just like they brought Jamie Lee Curtis back, you know, have Kurt Russell's MacReady come back 40 years later. We don't know what happened to him. We never found out. It's that continuity from the one movie to the next. You know, we don't know how this has affected his life in the span of 40 years, just like, you know, it did for Laurie in Halloween 2018. Whether or not they call this movie The Thing or The Thing 2 or 3 or Frozen Hell, you know, I could care less, really. I feel like they'd probably call it The Thing, since that's the trend that they go with. You know, we have 3 movies that are all called Halloween. Why not do that with The Thing? As Frozen Hell is not a well-known title, so they might not draw as many audience members. But the one thing that we absolutely need to see in this movie is practical effects. None of that CGI bullshit. They have the money. Blumhouse, Universal, you can do this. Don't fuck it up. Guys, let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts, feelings are about this. You know, do you agree with me? Do you think this is a good idea? What do you want to see in this movie? Thanks so much for watching, guys. I've been Zach Cherry, and I'll be right back.